Hey everyone, I am Colleen Hoover and I am coming to you through this camera because of COVID, so I can't be there and I'm so sad, but I'm super excited to be able to answer some of your questions. Regretting You is coming out October 23rd in Germany and I'm so excited for you guys to read it. I hope you love it. In the meantime, I'm going to answer some questions that you guys sent me. Lots of questions. So for the first one, we have, which is your favorite book as a child? I would have to say anything by Shel Silverstein. I loved his poetry. I used to collect his books. I loved him so much. And also Judy Blume. I was a big Judy Blume fan. And one more. Oh, I dropped one. All right. Which one of your books do you like the most and which one do you like the least? That's a tough question. I'm gonna have to say that I like It Ends With Us the most. I think it meant the most to me. It's more personal to my life than any of the other books I wrote. And This Girl is probably my least favorite. It's the male point of view of Slammed. And I don't know, I had a lot of readers who wanted to read Will's point of view for that, and that's why I wrote it, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But it's out there, and I'm not proud of it. Which one of your characters would you like to be friends with? Definitely Daniel, I think, from Finding Cinderella. I just think he is funny and sarcastic and would be a lot of fun to hang out with. Daniel and Six, I would just be their friend. How long does it take you to write a book? There's not an answer to that question. It's just different. Every book is different. I've written books in as little as 2 months before, and then sometimes they take me an entire year. It just depends on what's going on in my life, how much other stuff I've got on top of the writing, and how inspired I feel. I would say the average is about 6 months. All right, let's pick another one. What balance do you have to your work as a writer, and how do you relax best? I have no balance. I don't have any kind of schedule. I just write when I feel like writing, and I relax by watching TV. I love movies. We have movie night all the time, us and the kids. It's my favorite thing to do. It also helps me get inspiration. All right, do you read your own books from time to time to get inspiration or to relax? No, definitely not. I don't know why. When I try to read my books, I go in and want to change everything. And so it's not relaxing to me at all. It's actually very nerve-wracking because once they're published, I can't do anything about it. So I do not go back. I think I've gone back to read 1 or 2 books because I had to write like sequels or whatever, but that's it. All right, one more. I mean, lots more, but I have one pulled already. Which one of your characters would handle a COVID-19 lockdown the best and which one the worst? Good question. I think Graham from All Your Perfects would definitely handle it the best. And I think Warren from Maybe Someday would handle it the worst. He, to me, seems like he needs interaction with people and is kind of hyper and doesn't like to sit still, so he would probably find it hard to sit at home. All right, let's draw another one. We've got a lot left. Y'all sent some good questions in. All right, are there places outside that inspire your writing? I would say no. That's not true. I live in Texas, which is the southern part of North America. And there are bugs everywhere. You can't sit in the grass here. You'll get eaten up by fire ants. There's wasps, there's snakes, there's spiders, everything all the time. So I don't really find that relaxing. But if I'm near the beach, I'm very relaxed. I get a lot of inspiration when I'm near the ocean. So if I'm near water, not bugs. Out of all your characters, with whom would you want to go out for a drink? Probably Daniel again. I just think he's fun. Any of them really, like, except for Asa from Too Late and maybe Verity. It would be interesting to hang out with any of them. All right, let's do another one. What kind of scenes do you most love writing? Not sex scenes. They just, I don't know, those aren't my favorite. They make me uncomfortable. Especially because sometimes like I'm writing while my family's around, and then like if I'm writing a really intimate scene, I'm just like looking to see, you know, like, do they know what I'm doing? I don't know. I think the middle of books is my favorite. There's this sweet spot right when I pass about 20,000 words where I know like who the characters are going to be and where the story's going to go, and it's less stressful. So I would say the middle of the book. The beginning and the end are the hardest to me. How much time do you spend on research before writing? That's a very good question. I tend to do it backwards. Plus I write about life, and there's not a whole lot of research that goes into most of my books, because, you know, you get research every day from just living. Now, if I was writing about a certain subject that I needed more knowledge on, I would research that. Like definitely with Maybe Someday and All Your Perfects, the characters dealt with things that I wasn't familiar with. And so what I did was I wrote the book first, how I felt like it would be portrayed by these characters. And then I had people that had experience with those topics read it and give me feedback. That works better for me than doing it beforehand. I don't know why. I just like to get in the minds of my characters and not have any outside influence until after I write the book. Then it's easier to go back and correct anything I got wrong. All right, here's another one. Is there anything in your published books you'd like to change? Everything. This goes back to that question about, do I have relaxed to reading my books? I can't. Like, I just, you know, like, oh, I wish this character wouldn't have spoke like that. I wish this scene would have gone differently. I don't think a book to me is ever finished. It just comes to a point where I'm like, okay, this is as good as I can get it for now. I need to turn it in. But I would go back and write a lot. Rewrite a lot. Slammed probably Will and Lakin's meet cute. I feel like I would have drug that out a little more because I felt like it was a little too insta love, but it was my first book. I didn't really know better. All right, let's draw another one. Did you always know that you wanted to be an author? Yeah, I think so. Probably from as early as the age of 4, before I could read and write, I had stories I wanted to tell, and I was very jealous that my sister knew how to write because she was a little older than me and was already in school. So from the time I was, you know, have memories, I've always wanted to be a writer and tell stories. I didn't think I could make a career out of it. So when I got to college, I majored in social work and actually did that for almost 10 years before I wrote my first book. I was 31 when I wrote my first book. So it took me a while to realize that I could do it. And I still kind of question that. All right. How did you get the idea for the story of Verity? That's a tough one. So I was watching a scary movie with my mom, and I hated how it ended. And I was complaining to her about it because I like my scary stories and my movies to be realistic. I like them to be something that could happen to me. But in this particular movie, it just ended so bizarre. And I was just complaining to her about it. And she goes, well, why don't you go write a scary book? And I went home that night and I outlined the entire book of Verity. I tried to think about what would frighten me. And I think that's why the book, centers around authors, because that's what would scare me. Like if my husband didn't believe something that I wrote or believed something that I wrote. So yeah, it was inspired by my anger for the ending of a movie. And I'm not going to say which movie. I don't want to talk bad about anyone. Will there be a sequel to Verity, or do you plan writing a similar novel? So I would love to write a sequel to Verity. I had so much fun writing that. But I just haven't got an idea yet, like a solid idea. I've been trying to outline one, but I will write another thriller. Actually, Layla releases in December. I'm not going to call it a thriller. It's more just a paranormal romance, but it's probably the closest to Verity of any of my other books. All right, picking another one. Do you already have new novels planned? I do and I don't. So this week I'm starting a new book, and it's been a struggle because I have about 3 or 4 ideas floating around that I've outlined, but I'm not in the mood to write any of those. And I can't think of what I do want to write. So right now I'm in like this crisis of just what's next. Not a crisis, but you know, like a little bit of writer's block, but I'm not going to force it. I always do have novels on the back burner, but I don't write them until I get in the mood to. Hopefully I'll get in the mood soon. If you did not become a writer, which job would you probably be doing instead? Probably still social work. I really liked that. And I did it for a few years before I wrote my first book. That's what I got my college degree in. And I liked that. So I'd probably be doing that. Although I do have a dream of being a director someday. I don't know if that will ever come true because it seems really hard, but... All right, if you compare your husband Heath with the male protagonist of your books, who would resemble him the most? So I would say Jeremy from Verity, minus like the murder and the creep factor. But I actually used Heath as an idea for that book. Like I said earlier, I like things to be, you know, something that could scare me in real life. And Heath is not a creative person. He is not a writer, and he doesn't really understand how I can come up with these characters and these storylines and not feel what they or think what they think. And I'm always afraid when he reads my books that he's going to come across the character's thoughts and think that that's how I think, because it's not. I disagree with my characters a lot. And I kind of used that in Jeremy because Jeremy couldn't really understand Verity and how her mind worked and the things that she wrote. Like, did she not also think that in real life? He found it hard to separate the writer from the wife. And so I used Heath kind of as an example for Jeremy's character. Do you have a favorite scent of candle? I do. I actually have one burning back there. See? Apple. Apple's my favorite. I love it. Not like apple pie or anything that's going to make me hungry, but apple. I love apple and cinnamon. Do you talk to people affected by certain situations before writing a new book? That kind of goes back to research. So I talk to people after I write the book. Like with All Your Perfects, the fertility that Graham and Quinn struggle with, I wrote the book first, how I would perceive it if I had those issues. And then I went and got feedback from women who do deal with those issues. So I kind of do it backwards, but I do it. Will you write another thriller? Yes. I don't know when, but I will. We have time for a couple more, and there's so many. I'm going to try to hurry. Right. How do you get the names of your protagonists? So I steal them. I steal them from you guys, the readers. Like if I see one of you comment on my stuff and I like your name, I'll write it down. I think it's really important. That's why I use unique names, because I like when people talk about characters online that they know which books they come from. So I don't usually go with common names, but I do. I steal names from the internet a lot. Especially in cohorts, my Facebook group. Sometimes I'll go look at the member list and just choose names that I like. If you could turn another one of your books into a movie or series, which one would you choose? Well, It Ends With Us hopefully will be next if things go well with that one. And Verity, I would love to see Verity because I do like scary movies, and it would be really cool to see that on the screen. I would take any of them. I'm not picky. All right, let's do another one. Do you have a favorite book or author? I would say Tiffany DeBartolo. She wrote How to Kill a Rock Star and A God-Shaped Hole, and she's got a book called Sorrow coming out this month. I really, really love her books. Let's do another. I'm using a cup that someone made me. Isn't that pretty? All right. Do you concentrate on writing one novel at a time, or do you work on several? I'm a one-book girl. I need to put all my energy into one novel at a time. I cannot write multiple things. It's because I just get engrossed by those characters and that storyline and think about it all the time. And if I was trying to do that with more than one book, my mind would explode. Did you have reservations when writing Verity, as it is very different kind of book compared to your other books? I did. I was actually very nervous to put that book out. I wanted to write it really bad. It's one of my favorite writing experiences, but I was worried no one would read it. It was a departure, and it's actually become my best-selling novel. So, I never dreamed that would happen at all, ever. I just was hoping people would give it a chance. Which music do you like to listen to while writing? I like complete silence. When I'm actively writing, like I'll take the batteries out of the clock on the wall. Like I don't want to listen to anything. But music does inspire me. So I'll go drive around if I'm stuck or having writer's block. It's usually the Avett Brothers, the Airborne Toxic Event, Ex-Ambassadors, Griffin Peterson, just a lot of different music. If I'm stuck and need ideas, I find myself driving around in my car a lot listening to music. But yeah, as I'm writing, complete silence. All right. In your opinion, which of your male protagonists is the perfect book boyfriend? I don't think anyone's perfect. I think they all have flaws. But I think Graham is my favorite from all your perfects. He did some things that made me upset, which is weird because I know I wrote the things that he did. But I can get mad at my characters just like y'all do when y'all read them. Okay, I cut part of that question off, so let's use a different one. What was your dream job as a child? Writer. Living my dream right now. Can you imagine writing a children's book? Absolutely. I would love to write a children's book. Kel actually had a great idea. My middle son, he has a great idea for a children's book, but I want him to sit down and write it with me since it's his idea. So hopefully we'll get to do that someday. Where do you write best? In here, in my office. I'll sit in that chair a lot, and then I'll move to the couch, and then I'll move to this chair. I hop around in here, but it's very peaceful here, and I get my best writing done here. Okay, we have time for a couple more. How does your daily life as a professional author look? Every day is different. I do not have a routine. Yesterday I was here at the office at 6 o'clock. This morning I slept in until 9. So I'm just the worst with the schedule. I show up when I feel like writing and when I have work to do. But then most of the time I work 16-hour days when I am writing. So it's just always different. Sometimes I sit at home and watch TV. Sometimes I go to work and work for 3 days straight. I have no balance. All right. I'm a terrible cutter. I've cut off so many of these. All right. How does your writing process look? Do you plot or create an outline beforehand? Every book is different. I don't really use a certain formula or a certain plan for every book. Like with Ugly Love, I wrote all of the odd chapters first and then all the even chapters. Sometimes I write the ending first and then I write the beginning. But I always do outline. I get most of the stuff that I keep from outlines. Like my outlines are sometimes longer than the books themselves. Like I just write. It's kind of like word vomit. I write all kinds of things down and then pull from that what ends up in the book. All right, we'll do 2 more. I'm running out of time. How do you motivate yourself to write when you have writer's block? I don't like to write. If I'm not feeling it and I'm stuck, I'm not going to sit in here and force it because it'll put me in a bad mood and then it'll start feeling like work and not a hobby. So I take a step back. There have been times when I've stopped writing for 3-4 months straight because I wasn't either in the mood or I didn't have an idea. And then I would work on other stuff like the charities or other, businesses. And then I would come back to the writing. So yeah, I don't stress about it because so far I've been writing 9 years and I do get writer's block sometimes. And I just allow myself to back away from it. And it's been working so far. All right, we'll do one more. Do you have a specific writing ritual? This is gonna sound weird, but I have to write, like when I'm actively writing a story, I have to wear new socks. Heath gets so mad because sometimes I go through a lot of socks, but I like brand new socks. I don't wear expensive purses or expensive clothes or anything, but I go through socks like nobody's business. So we usually end up donating an entire like 30-gallon trash bag of socks at the end of the year that were worn once. I don't know why, I've just always, it makes me feel comfortable. Oh, this is the last question. How appropriate. Are you happy with your life? I am so happy with my life. I wouldn't change a thing. I have the best husband in the world, the best job in the world, and you guys allow that to happen, and I can't thank you enough. And my kids are great. I'm very, very happy. I do wish that everyone could be safe from COVID right now, but I have a feeling that next year's going to look a lot better, and hopefully next year I will be able to be there in person. And I hope you guys enjoy Regretting You. Again, it comes out October 23rd, and I hope you love it. I miss you all, and hopefully I'll see you in 2021. Bye.